Imagine discovering that your organization's biggest risk isn't external. It's not a cyber attack. It's not a supply chain disruption, not even a competitor. It's happening inside your organization. An employee misusing data, violating policy, or acting in a way that damages your brand overnight. Now, this isn't hypothetical anymore, because right now, across industries, employee misconduct is increasing in frequency, visibility, and impact. By the way, stay tuned at the end of this video where you'll hear directly from Mike about why he wrote his Amazon #1 best-selling book, Operational Excellence. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerome Ryan, joined by Mike Janko, and this is Impact Analysis.
Thanks, Jerome, and hello, everyone. Today, we're talking about a topic that many organizations assume they have under control until they find out they don't. It's employee misconduct. It's a risk that's internal, manageable, and even preventable, and it's amplified by recent cultural changes, including remote work, digital access to everything, and social media exposure. Here's the key point we're seeing. When employee misconduct occurs, business continuity, reputation, and leadership credibility are immediately impacted. Remember to consider our key takeaways a bit later in our discussion, since by applying them, you can gain competitive advantages. Jerome, this sure appears to be a major concern, isn't it?
Yeah, Mike. So what happens when misconduct isn't isolated, but becomes more frequent, more visible, and more damaging? Today, we're breaking down why that's happening and what it means for organizations trying to maintain trust, control, and resilience.
Well, Jerome, we're seeing a noticeable rise in employee-related incidents across all industries. This includes data misuse and insider threats, workplace harassment and misconduct claims, policy violations and ethical breaches, and social media behavior impacting company reputations. This trend's been building and now it's accelerating. Here's a few numbers to put it in a proper perspective. 60% of organizations report experiencing some form of employee misconduct every year. Insider-related incidents have increased by over 40% in recent years. The average cost of an insider-related incident is now estimated at $15 million annually per organization, and nearly 1 in 3 employees admit to violating company policies knowingly.
Those are some serious stats. And here's where it gets even more serious. Employee misconduct today doesn't stay internal. It becomes public fast, very fast. We're seeing real-world examples. Employees posting controversial content tied back to their employer, workplace incidents going viral within hours, leaders removed due to ethical violations or cultural misalignment, data breaches caused by internal negligence or malicious actions. And at the same time, remote work reduces oversight. Digital access expands exposure, and social media amplifies everything. So now you have a situation where one individual action can become an organizational crisis. That's not an HR issue. That's a business risk.
As you said, Jerome, the misconduct doesn't stay contained. It spreads quickly across the whole organization. Check out a few more numbers. Insider threats account for over 20% of all cybersecurity incidents. Organizations take an average of 85 days to detect insider threat breaches. The misconduct-related lawsuits cost companies millions annually in settlements and legal fees. Some estimate the total cost to date surpassing $1 trillion. So the reputational damage can reduce company value by up to 30% in severe cases.
Yeah, and that hits organizations fast. Financial services, healthcare, technology, retail, you name it. If your operation depends on trust, data integrity, brand reputation, employee behavior, and let's face it, everyone's does, you're exposed. And here's the bigger issue. When misconduct occurs, trust erodes internally. Leadership credibility is questioned, employee morale declines, and customers ultimately lose confidence. This is how an internal issue becomes a full-scale organizational disruption. So let's talk a little bit about the cascading effects now, some of those second and third order impacts. The first effect is the incident itself. It always is. But what comes next is important because it isn't just about behavior. It's about culture, control, and leadership.
And organizations are struggling with key questions. Do we act quickly? or investigate thoroughly? Do we communicate publicly or do we contain it internally? How do we balance accountability and fairness? Why? Employees expect transparencies. Customers expect accountability, and social media demands speed.
Well, speaking of speed, that's the other layer, the speed of exposure. Studies are showing workplace incidents can reach millions of people within hours online. Negative news spreads up to 6 times faster than positive news. And employees are more likely than ever to report or share issues publicly. We've even seen internal complaints becoming public controversies, brand damage occurring before facts are confirmed, organizations reacting under pressure instead of with strategy.
So this is where being a highly resilient organization becomes your competitive advantage. That includes strong ethics and compliance frameworks, clear behavioral expectations, real-time monitoring and reporting mechanisms, and leadership accountability. Organizations that do all of this well detect issues earlier, respond faster, and maintain trust. You move from reacting to incidents to managing risks proactively.
And now we're starting to hit a bigger question. What organizations can maintain trust in an environment where transparency is immediate and mistakes are amplified? Because that answer determines who retains credibility, who faces repeated disruption, and who loses stakeholder confidence.
So let's take a look at some of the key takeaways and what leaders should do now, Jerome. Here's the bottom line. Employee misconduct isn't just an HR issue anymore, as you said. It's a real-time indicator of organizational health and resilience. Right now, it's increasing in visibility, speed, and impact. From insider threats to cultural breakdowns and reputational crises, the message is the same. Internal risk is external risk. So do what you can to strengthen governance and oversight, reinforce ethical culture, improve detection and response capabilities. The way you manage internal risk is changing right now.
So what should leaders do now? Well, first, build a culture of accountability and clarity. Employees need to understand what's expected, what's acceptable, what happens when standards are violated. Second, invest in detection and reporting systems, anonymous reporting channels, monitoring tools, regular audits, all help. Third, prepare for rapid response, crisis communications plans, legal and HR coordination, and leadership alignment. Because how you respond often matters more than the incident itself. And finally, continue to monitor your organization because risks develop internally, issues surface externally, and timing is everything. Please share our story with friends and colleagues, subscribe and like our Impact Analysis channel. It's always great joining you, Jerome, and sharing our message to benefit our audience. Until next time, thanks for joining us on Impact Analysis, where we strongly believe you can manage risks now or its consequences later. Hi, I'm Mike Janko, author of Excellence in Operational Resilience and co-host of the new YouTube channel, Impact Analysis. I wrote this book so you can learn of my journey of both personal and operational resilience. During my career as Goodyear's Director of Global Business Continuity and various leadership roles at both Nestle and Stouffer Hotels, we successfully managed through nearly 4,000 significant events and crises throughout the U.S., Latin America, Europe, Middle East, Africa, and Asia Pacific. A key takeaway during all those events was our teams performed the best when they were led by resilient leaders. My personal resilience is based on being an athlete, martial artist, and setting 2 world sit-up records. And a resilient leader does not allow themselves or their teams to fail. Operational resilience is not just about responding to crises. It's about leading teams to adapt, adjust, learn, and succeed through all types of events. If your organization wants to improve, I suggest you get my book, Excellence in Operational Resilience. After all, the only thing harder than being resilient is explaining why you aren't.